Okay, and welcome back. This is the final episode on this, so we'll be wrapping everything up here. We've got the final parts all laid out. So I want to start here with the body. If you remember, we had an issue where the front fender was hanging over the tire a bit too much, and I was kind of wondering what was happening there. Well, this is what was happening. The radiator was not in yet, and that piece there, that part of the body rests on the radiator, and once that was in, the whole thing raised up just a touch and makes it look better. And so that's what the issue was there. And I still have to foil all the trim there. I've just barely gotten started. I've done the marker light. The way I did that was the bare metal foil, just foiled over the whole thing, and then right in the middle there I used the amber paint from Testers, and also in the back there I did that little, I think that's called a soaring eagle or soaring bird or something like that. Now the insides of the parts of that emblem are supposed to be red, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, I also got the bumpers ready. Front bumper, rear bumper, and the firewall. Here on the same thing, the amber paint. And I can get close like that. There we go. These little things on the rear bumper, I was wondering what on earth those were. Those are, I think, those are, if I remember from the web pictures I was looking at, those are part of the bumper. They're exhaust tips to match up with the dual exhaust in the back. It's not going to work on this one because, of course, I did the side pipes. But that's what's going on there. Now on the headlights, I wanted to explain what I did there. Of course, the surrounding square around the headlight there, that is, on the pictures on the internet I saw about 50-50. Some of them were painted black and some of them were just the bare silver metal color there. And so I opted to, for this particular build, I thought it would look better that way. And when I originally put the headlights in, I had used this glue here, the Elmer's glue, and at this point I'm going to say don't do that. That glue is not good for headlights. I had glued them all in, and they all popped out 2 days later on their own just from heating and expansion. So the way I glued them on this time was just Future. I just slathered Future on, put the headlights on, and slathered Future over it, and that gave it a pretty good look, in my opinion. That's and it's holding, and that's good. So then I worked on the firewall there, and that is just used a Sharpie on that, and we're ready to start assembling this. Of course, it's not much assembly. I don't think I have the battery in there yet, but I'll put that in. And then the big difference between this scene and the next is going to be a whole bunch of bare metal foil, and it's going to seem like it was easy, but it wasn't. Anyway, that's what we'll see in the next scene, and so I'll see you there. Okay, so if you blinked, you missed it. It only took 1 second to do all the foil on the whole car. Actually, it took like 4 days, I'll admit. But got it all done. Now, I used bare metal foil on all this, or on most of it. I'll show you in a moment. So all of this that you're seeing here, this is all bare metal foil. And if you're wondering, you're seeing that kind of a wrinkly pattern, and I've seen this before. I've seen other people post their builds and they're showing their bare metal foil, and I just thought they did a terrible foil job. But as it turns out, this foil is all applied completely perfectly, and what the problem is that there is little tiny bumps on the trim, and that's not part of the mold that came with the kit. It's part of the paint job, unfortunately. As much as the paint went down nice and smooth on the rest of the car, a lot of times with a spray can, on sharp edges and stuff, there will be these little micro bubbles that form. You can kind of see it there. And the micro bubbles are what you're seeing here. And ordinarily that's no good, but for this particular build, I like it because of the theming that we're doing here. In review, the car is painted in the ocean color, and the interior is shark skin, and then a lot of the trim parts are meant to be bait fish, shiny metallic bait fish color, and so to have a bumpy or scaly appearance is totally fine for this particular build. And yeah, that was a lot of work, but we got it done. Only on one part here, just for reference, I wanted to show you here. I used bare metal foil on all the parts except for that one bottom row there. I used the Molotov pen there. And the reason why I didn't do the entire car in Molotov is because I don't have the skills. I don't have the, or I didn't think that I had the ability, but as you can see right here, that is not foil, that is just Molotov pen, and I came up with a pretty straight line there. So I don't know, maybe it will work. And as you're seeing here, there's hardly any noticeable difference between Molotov and bare metal foil. In fact, up here in this corner, right here, I messed up the foil a little bit. Back up just a touch. I messed up the foil just a little bit, and so I went in and touched up with the Molotov pen. I finally got the 1mm pen. And you can't tell the difference between foil, which is right there, and then the curved part there is where I touched up with Molotov. It's so much like chrome that it's amazing. But anyway, moving on here. So we've got, that was a lot of work there to get all that foil on there. But now it's on there, and at this point we just have to do the door handles, and I'm just going to paint that. And in case you all haven't figured out that trick, you can use your thick Molotov pen, and you can just open it up and put your fine paintbrush right up onto the tip and just get some chrome off the Molotov pen and onto your paintbrush, and then you can paint a detail like that with Molotov paint. If you and that'll give you a better control than the tip on the Molotov pen. And so I'm going to do that next. Also, we got to get an emblem on there, and that is going to be the 442 emblem. It's a decal, and so we'll get all that on there. I've still got to paint some flat black inside the exhaust there. I love the way that's hanging down there. I think you should be able to see the other one too. Yep, there it is. And anyway, so that's what's going to be next, and that should be in the next scene. We're going to be finishing it off here in this episode, so that'll be next. Okay, and continuing on, I have the decal, the emblem decals on there now. And they were in pretty rough shape. This kit has some age to it. I was a little worried they were going to completely come apart on me, but I got them on there. Also, there was one on the hood right there. Right in the middle there. And so I got that in, and I've got the rear windshield in, the rear window in. I certainly have to clean that up. I've got smudges all over it. So I will get to that. But on the front end, I had messed up the windshield pretty bad, and so I ended up having to go in there with the Brasso and tried to polish it out as best I could. But I mean, I got a glue drop on it right there. Still haven't been able to get that off of there. And then I polished it up with Brasso, and yes, I did put Future on this thing. Thick coat on front and back, and I still see all the scratches and everything like that. Plus the glue drop is still there, and there's a little smudge down there, and I don't know what that is. And so I kind of decided to give up on the kit windshield and make my own, so I traced it out on paper and cut it out, and then on a piece of packaging here, this is just a piece of blister pack, like you would buy some kind of product on there. And then I cut it out, and I'm starting to curve it, you know, to match the shape of the windshield there, and it's starting to fit pretty good. And I'll get it in there, and actually in scale, this, when you do it this way, it looks quite a bit better, because in scale that kit windshield would be like an inch thick or more, like, you know, it doesn't look right. But once you finally work one of these windshields in there properly, they look more accurate. And so I will continue to work on that and get that in the right shape and get it glued in. And that'll be in the next scene. I'm sure there'll be a lot of trouble that you won't see. Otherwise, the only other issue I ran into here was with the battery. The battery, you can see, looks kind of funny. It is a short and skinny battery. And the reason for that, they had a, it's not really going to show in there. They had a little cubby hole there. It didn't used to go all the way through the fender well there, but there was an indentation there. And that is where you were supposed to put your battery, but it absolutely didn't fit because it was hitting the inlet there on the radiator. And the only thing I could think of, the only things you could do is make the battery go even lower, where it'd be like way down in there, or cut the battery in half, and that's what I did. From the top, it will just look normal, and so that's what I ended up having to do there. But it surprised me because everything else on the kit fits so well, and then to suddenly have something crazy like that happen did surprise me. So anyway, everything is done here, everything's done there, everything everywhere is done except for that windshield. So what I need to do now is get the windshield in there properly, get the front and rear bumpers back on, or on for the first time, and the firewall, and gosh, I think it's final assembly. That's exciting. So there's a good chance that the next scene will be the fully assembled car. I can't wait. Okay, here we go. Finally done. And it's just mocked up. It's not all glued together because there's still a few reasons why I might want to go in there again. But, well, you know, not looking bad at all. Real happy with it. And let me show you back here. There we go. I wish I was able to, I'm going to have to get that into a better light. But, yeah, this side here. There we go. If you're wondering what I have here, this is a cake decorating pedestal. Really nice, smooth motion for showing something like this. All aluminum, really expensive. I got it from the kitchen. Anyway, this is neat. I was just playing with this. Watch this. You can make it look like it's doing a donut if you have it. See that? Kind of. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, so the windshield, I ended up wanting to, I was trying to do that artificial windshield with the blister pack, and that didn't go so well. That's over here. When I started to try to really curl up the edges, they started turning white on me. This kind of stuff, if you bend it too far, then it starts to turn white, and that was just enough for me. And as you can see, I've been mixing paint on it. So I gave up on that, and I ended up saying, well, you know, The kit windshield is fine enough even with its blemishes, so I left it on there. And it, you know, gosh, it looks pretty good. Then I finally, I can't remember what else I was saying, but this is some interesting things about this kit. Like, say, look, for example, the side mirrors there. When comparing to the box art, it's very mysterious because, here's the box art here. There's three things on the box art that are weird. Number one, no side mirrors on both examples of the kit that they were showing. And also no headlights. They never put in the clear headlights. And the kit definitely has the clear headlights. It definitely has side mirrors. But this here, this fake rear side glass, that doesn't exist. That was like airbrushed into the box art picture. And it doesn't exist, so that it's wide open there. And the mirrors do exist, and the headlights definitely exist, and they look good. You know, I don't know why they didn't. The person who made the box photo didn't put them in. So what was I going to do? I was going to try to around this side. Maybe I can do that. The license plate, I put that on there for Dylan. NYS Modeling. This is one of the decals that came with the kit, and I decided to put that one on there in honor of Dylan. There you go. And really happy with that. So I think at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the body back off and show you what problems arose, because everything was going really great up until the end when I tried to get the body on, and I'll explain what happened there in a second. So what happened here, and I forgot my pointer, there it is. Okay, so when I tried to mate the body to the chassis, the backs of these fender wells were hitting the firewall, and there was no hope. This had to, so what I did is I used a styrofoam cutter, which is kind of like a soldering iron, and because I didn't want the plastic to be gone, I just wanted it to conform better to the point where I'd be able to get it on. So I just kind of got it hot and kind of melted it and kind of moved it on both sides. Had to do it because it was not going to go on with the firewall. And got that done. Also, the bottom parts of the firewall I had to cut out to get this area, to get it to slip, the firewall to slip over and into here. It missed by a mile. So I had to cut out the parts of the firewall to get that on there. And also, and this was not the kit's fault, well, sort of the kit's fault, since I put these big back tires on there, the body set up higher than it normally would at the stock height. And so the normal way the rear part of the pan usually fits up under the bumper and kind of hooks. You guys know what I'm talking about. That wasn't going to work. It was stopping it from going down all the way. So I took a full 1/8 of an inch off the back of this car. And now it doesn't hook under there, and it's just kind of loose. And you would have to come up with some different way of gluing the body on. Ordinarily, I don't glue the bodies on, so it's not going to be an issue for me. You just got to remember when you pick it up that it's not attached on the back. And that's about it for the explanations here. I wanted to show it again. Of course, I had made I lost my sharks. I had made the little driver and passenger sharks, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it back together again with the sharks in there. I've decided not to leave it displayed permanently with the sharks. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. I changed my mind a lot. But let's put it together with the sharks in there and see what it looks like. Okay, so basically this is the best I can do here. They're not glued in there. It's a challenge to move them around in there. because it's kind of the idea of like a ship in a bottle. If you don't know, when you're making a ship in the bottle, you're actually making it with like long tweezers and so on. So I got him in there. He's driving. He's a bull shark, and his wife is over here. I couldn't get her set up properly, so his wife is going down the road, staring out the window like a dog would do. Not that his wife is a dog or women are dogs or anything like that. It's just she's decided to look out the window the whole time, which kind of works for a hammerhead because her little eyeball is on the side, and so she can be looking this way. She can have her head this way, but she can be looking straight forward. And that's what I'm going to go with. That's my story. And then I've got the great white just sitting there in front of the car because I can't decide what to do with him. And, I don't know, this whole thing was just fun anyway. I probably will, because of the ocean theme, I'll keep the shark with it. But I don't think I'm going to put the driver and passenger in there. I think I'm going to leave them out. So this thing will just kind of be displayed with the shark behind it or something. Maybe here. I don't know. Anyway, I got to show you inside the engine compartment, so I'll do that next. It's a tight fit, so it can't be done with one hand, so I'll just put it in the next scene. Alrighty, here's a look inside the engine compartment. Just give a quick kind of spin around there. There's the shallow battery, or short battery. Remember what I had said about that. And that is the best I can make that look. I really should have painted those cables. Maybe I still will. And got the water bottle painted there. Sure seems like there's something missing down there in that. Oh yeah, that is where that's where the hose attached for the standard air cleaner, which is not being used right now. And so noticeably missing is the distributor. And let me show you the angle here. If you can see there. What do you think happened? I mean, there is no way to get that thing on there. And so what I'm going to have to do, yeah, it was on there, and as I was trying to put the body on, it was hitting the fender. Of course it was, There was no way to do it, so I really don't know how I'm going to get it on there, honestly. It's going to have to be angled up a little bit, and I think I'm going to have to do like I did with the batteries. I'm going to have to cut the reservoir part of it in half long ways. And so it will kind of look good from the top, but from the side, if you were to look at this side, I mean, it's going to have to be like sandwich thin, paper thin, to get it to go on there. And so that is for another day. I mean, it's crazy, but I might have to leave it off of there unless somebody has some other suggestions. Anyway, that's the engine compartment. You've seen the undercarriage on other videos. It's got the shark theme as well. Shark skin components and bait fish shiny parts. And that is that. I'll go back to... we don't want to do that. I'll go back to a scene with the body all together and the shark's out of it. You see, she fell down. She fell down. And, then we'll finish this up. I've also been taking a lot of pictures, so this will be the rare time that I'm actually going to do a picture slideshow at the end there. So, yep, hang tight. Okay, so there we go. All back together. And I'm really happy to finally finish one. It's pretty rare these days for me to actually get one done. And it is a beauty. Yeah, that's a wrap. So there'll be a slideshow after this. And just can't resist doing a few more donuts. So stay tuned for the slideshow. I'll get this thing going around in circles again. Just now remembering that it does roll, so it might have a disaster here, but it's a little too much fun, so there it goes. Anyway, the slideshow is next, and thank you all for watching. Later.